Hi guys, I'm JSB and this is the Total Waterpolo podcast. Joining me today is a coach at the very top of his game. It's UVSE's head coach, Marton Benczur. Now Marton is hoping to lead his side to what would be his fourth Hungarian league title and maybe even EuroLeague glory in a few weeks' time in Athens. Our chat is fairly long as it is, so I'm fairly conscious, don't want to keep you any longer, but please don't forget to claim 10% off at wearwaterpolo.com with our discount code podcast10. The link is in the bio, and of course we're grateful for any shares, subscribes, ratings, reviews or messages if you have the time to send them in to us or on wherever you're listening to this podcast. So sit back, get your notebook out, and let's listen to the insightful words of Marton Benczur. Martin, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Thanks, I'm fine. It's an honor to be here with you with an interview, so thank you very much for interest.
Honestly, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Obviously, you've got a really busy few weeks coming up. We'll talk all about that, and I know every moment counts. Let's just get straight into it then. We'll talk about your coaching, and we'll talk about UVSC, obviously. But let's just start at the beginning a little bit, more about you personally. Before coaching, so before the man that we see getting very passionate on poolside and stuff, what can you tell us about you?
I started to play water polo when I was 7, 8 years old, so it's my life, I can say. Easy. I stopped play around when I was 35, 36. I'm so old, so I'm not sure about it. Sorry for me. So it's my life. I enjoyed every moment of it. I played with really good teammates, work with the best coaches, especially as a people, not just coaches. So I enjoyed every moment, and I'm delighted to be the part of the water polo, of course, the water polo family and the whole sport. So I had many so good games, enjoyable moment. Of course, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but it's also the part of the game. So I enjoyed it every moment. And when I was 21, one of the leader of our club, maybe I can say he's the founder. I must mention his name. So it's József Kiss, who managed the whole thing when we separated from our mother club, the UVSC, and they found UVSE. And when I was 21, it was maybe another time, a long time ago. He asked me when we were swimming in the pool, made just, of course, some hard work at summer, and we just say hello. And he asked me, "Are you interested to be a coach?" And I was shocked. Okay, why not? So after 2 months later, I started to coach with boys. They were 11 years old. So I worked with all ages in our youth academy in the boys, and also the past maybe 10 years ago, I started to go and watch one of my best friends' games. He was I think he built up the whole UVSC youth academy in the girls. It's Battle on Hatch, and I started to go his games. He asked me my opinion or some advices or just watch the games. So that's how I get connected with the women's water polo. I absolutely enjoyed it. I never say that it's a different sport or oh, they're just much more weaker or not so good as the boys. So that's how I started to get connected. And 4.5 years ago, this is the fifth season of me as a head coach. It was an absolutely honor to me. He asked me, should I take it the senior team? And I was first quite shocked that, oh my God, this is one of the best team of the world. But of course I said yes. So that's all. If you have any questions, I can say 3 hours long about it, but I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd love to hear it all. And you actually, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to ask you, how did you get involved in the coaching? But you've summarised it really well there. And I guess you said water polo is your life. I guess it's fair to say that UVSE is also your life to a large extent. You've been at the club. I think this September was your 20th anniversary at the club. That's a long time. I mean, that's nearly longer than I've been alive. Not to make you feel old or anything, but yeah. So as you mentioned there, you joined the first team setup. You know, a really dominant force in women's water polo, certainly in Hungary. Um, Before you were the head coach, obviously the head coach now, you were the assistant coach. Is that where you learned about senior polo?
Yes, absolutely. And I was also the vice president of the club about water polo because there are different sections, of course, the financial things, and but about water polo, I was also vice president. So I'm quite lucky because I see the whole clubs, how is it works from the beginning to the senior level, the mechanism, the background. It's really important, and of course, especially about the senior team. I was an assistant coach. I learned huge things about from Berzi. We used to call him Berzi, and everything about the technical issues when you travel somewhere, about the hotels, about the bookings, the flight tickets. So we solved many not problems, many situations. So I think when it's the time I could get the proposal to be a head coach, I think I'm quite clear about the whole senior team around the background, and I try to learn as much I can. But the first season and the first half season of mine, it was quite hard. So it's not an easy to join a team like this.
It's so interesting. There are some obvious differences from being a head coach and being an assistant coach. When you finally did become the head coach, um, what was the biggest thing that hit you? What was the biggest dynamic shift? You're with a group of players, you're the number two or three coach, suddenly you're the number one, different responsibilities and all the rest
The
of it.
biggest how to handle the whole team from Monday to Friday. Of course, you need to be as good as a coach about the sessions, how to build up the swimming, the leg work, the shooting, and the tactics, and how to make connections with the best players of the world, of course, and many youngsters. So you need to make a good mix about it, how to talk with them all the time, not try not to be so strict, but we are not friends. Of course, there are friendly connections, but we are not friends. I am the coach; they are the players. So at the first half season, it's not an easy thing to make this work properly. So it's real hard, and of course the games. When you are in the front line, you need to manage everything. How to call some tactics, how to call the man ups, the man downs, and I think maybe the hardest thing is to manage the substitutions. I remember, and I'm quite honest, the first big game for me is was a Super Cup final against Kinev. Kinev, one of the best women's teams, so they are absolutely a clear vision how they play. They are played together many years, and it was at the full crowd. It Komiadi, it was TV coverage, and I also made many mistakes. So we lose that game, of course, not because of me or any player. We are a team, as we lost as a team, but. Today I changed many things in that game. So I made too many substitutions. Not the best mix of players were in the water in many situations. So I think that's the hardest.
Did you ever have a meeting, the first meeting as a head coach, where you laid out, you said there, I'm not their friend, I'm the coach. Sometimes with assistant coaches, certainly in some of the teams that I've played in, you've got the head coach, which is the main guy, the big cheese, if you like, and then you've got the assistant coach who is still a fantastic coach, but is a little bit more supportive, maybe a little bit more likely to put the arm around the shoulder and say, oh well, this is what the head coach actually wants. Do you ever remember having a meeting the first day of you being the head coach? And if you had a meeting, do you mind sharing a few of the things that you might have said?
Uh, if you agreed, I start one step back, because at first, when the players were talked with the boss of the club, the president, the vice president, and so they asked, okay, we switch the coach, but who will be the next? And for me, it's a great honor and of course a responsibility when of course, the best players, they heard it. The plan is that I will be the coach, and they said, okay, no problem, that's good. So for me, it was a great support from them. A first meeting, I did not remember. There are many speech with girls personally, or two, three girls together. So I think we don't want to make a big event about it. We just start to work. Okay, this is the first training. Let's go to the water, and so there was not a big first event about it.
Sure, sure, and that's really interesting what you've said there. The players had a bit of input in whether you were selected, or was it just by the way, he's going to coach. What do you think? Or did they actually have a say in whether you'd be the coach or not?
Yes, I can repeat myself. It was a great honor to me, and I talked with them, of course, the last three seasons when I was closely an assistant and we go to the EuroLeague. I was with them many times. We lived many good games or bad games together, so we know each other. But of course, when you are the head coach, many things will come in front, and you must solve it. Of course, for the players too, it's not an easy thing. So it's not about me that. I have a plan, and maybe you just broke my plan, or you destroyed it. No, we work together. I said them from the first time that we work together. If something is not working, we can talk about it. Of course, there is a proper situation, not from the water. You just scream to me that it's not okay or something, but they are real intelligent as a person. So there was no problem with the best players. They never talked back to me from the water or in the gym or something. We talked many times personally by phone or by chat, or we just sit and drink a coffee and talk about. But I don't remember major problems. So that's my beliefs, that we can talk about everything. It's not about me, it's about the team. So they understand it, of course. And the our foreign players too. When we signed Vivian, 7 each, or Stephens, we talked a lot before they signed to our club. After, I said them the same, that it's not about me. We work together. We need to be the best as a team we could. So that's my belief, the communication.
Honestly, it's very interesting and unique to hear this. It's not. I don't think this is the case in many other sports, and we don't hear often coaches being open about how they go about signing players and stuff. But honestly, it's fascinating to hear that, and I'm sure listeners would love to hear a lot more about that. Um, you said okay, that maybe you don't remember the first meeting. You didn't want to make a big deal of it. You just wanted to get on with it, and very quickly you did get on with it. I mean, you personally, you've won the title, the national championship, three times. Probably would have won it in 2020, but you can't really count that as one. So we'll just keep it at three. That's dominant, really. And UVSC are a dominant force in Hungarian water polo. What what keeps the motivation for you and the team to keep winning? Is it a love of winning? Is it a fear of losing, or a bit of both, or something else? What keeps you operating at such a high level?
Maybe a mix, all of it. I don't think that the fear is a motivation. Of course, to win again is absolutely motivation for us, and every season and every year, not so much fluctuation about the players, but two, three players in each season, especially from our youth academy, always join the first team. And we had a clear vision about it. That okay, sometimes we sign players from crucial positions like center forward or a lefty or maybe a goalie, but our clear vision is our most important goal. Is to That was the first when we built up our great team, to bring back the players who developed and raised up in our club, but we had not the financial and other background to keep them in the club. So, like Rita Kestei or Edina Gangul or the others. So, first it was to sign them and take them back from other clubs, and they were absolutely delighted to join back again. When we first win, I was an assistant the first season we won the championship. Rita Kestei said maybe it was his sixth national championship in Hungary, and she was crying and said it was a special one because it's in my home. I win with my family, my first team, the UVSC, so they feel they are at home. So it's always a special thing. Uh, I'm quite lucky. I always said it. Maybe some viewers or the fans start to get boring about it, but I'm lucky because my players, of course, they are not perfect as me as well, but they are always very, very helpful for the youngsters. Or the other players join, like Seven each or Stephens or the others, and we are always open about the others, how they, what's the point of view for players from the Netherlands or the USA, how they view about the tactics, the swimming, the trainings, about how to handle when we lose a game. So I need to mention the name of Stephens, Maggie, because they are quite good friends with Rita, and I know it's not my business, but I know they talked about it a lot. How to handle if you lose, how to handle if you win, how to handle that you are the best player, you must score or not, how to play, how to behave with the youngsters. So they switch and change their thoughts about it. So I think both players improved because of it, and always the youngsters. I need to mention it because it's the most important goal for us, for the leaders of the club also, who had their childrens also played in our club in the youth academy. So I'm quite lucky because it's easier for me to build in the team, the youngsters, because Berzi and now it's my assistant Vince Chichaki and the past coaches Zoltan Tot or Zoltan Abel. They are very good how to work with them. So they worked a lot. So it's not a surprising that in the senior team is many trainings. So they not get shocked. Oh, what's this many trainings? So they are disciplined. They know we are not just looking and have fun in the trainings because it's hard work. So it's a system, and we have a clear vision for many years ago. And when I get the position to be a senior, I don't want to change, and I think I could be the most stupid people in the world if I want to change everything. I just need some few, maybe other or different tactics or point of view of mine, but I just need to maintain the continuity after I get the team and I be as the first coach after Betsy. So maybe I can say, and the results maybe prove it that it works. But otherwise, the results, how the players feel when we play, how when we work the whole season together. So maybe I can say also that they enjoyed it, but you need to ask them about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I very much think they do. And what one thing that kept popping up there is youth. You know, the young players and the vision, and that's something that's so evident at UVSC. And we'll be talking about that in a bit, just about a bit of culture at the club. Um, I would like to move on and talk about this season. It's had its challenges. It's maybe unfair for me to ask this, and maybe not really appropriate for you to give a really clear answer, but as an evaluation for this season so far, how satisfied are you from what you've seen in the pool from your team? And I know obviously the next 3 weeks could change all of that based on results and stuff, but trying to take the results out of it purely from what you've seen, the way they've worked. Are you satisfied with your team?
Not 100%, of course, because we like to win everything. Okay, not the most prestigious thing is the Hungarian Cup, but I think we need to win the cup. Of course, it's my team, so I say they are the best. But it's also the part of the learning session. Maybe is the good word. The learning as a team, as a players. When we start the season after the Olympic Games, we expect not problems, situations about how our national team players handle these great things that they've won the first ever medal in the Olympic Games for the women's team. And we were quite sure that it's not an easy thing to handle, that you could be some kind of star. You need to find your motivation again. We signed a new goalie. Of course, she needs to built in the team also, and they need to make the connections between the players. So we need we all absolutely know and expect that it will be not an easy season. But the most important games, it's not. decided the result with major big things or many numbers like goals or exclusions or something. It's just small thing. Maybe 2 days ago there was the Champions League in football, like Real Madrid and the Paris Saint Germain. Just one minor fault or something can change the whole game, can change the whole season. Absolutely, the results. So I'm not satisfied, but I'm not disappointed also. Of course, we can play better, we can get better results. We lose some important games, but the most important is in front of us. But we're not used to start seasons that, okay, we must win the EuroLeague or we must win this or we must win that. Of course, sometimes we lose because we are, and especially the girls are not machines.
You said that okay, it's not about winning this, that, and the other, because of the standards that you have set and your predecessor set at UVSE. There is a potential possibility it would be a trophyless season at UVSE this season, and that's not really acceptable for a club of of your standard.
The two most important titles is in front of us, so the EuroLeague and of course the Championship. But everyone must know that the Hungarian Championship, I think it's one of the strongest. So of course the Spanish also good, the Italian also good, but the past years the clubs around us like Dunajváros and Ferencváros, of course, and BVSC, they signed many good players. They get stronger and stronger season by season, and the same time with this, the others get stronger and stronger. This is also a planned thing that we need to switch our team. We need to switch players, of course, because they age and we get and we saw that 2 3 years ago that which players are there. They were maybe 13, 40 years old. That we must build them in the team. So there is now like a planned switch of players. You know that the 14 players in our squad in Hungarian Championship. Now the half of it, 7 players, it's under 18. So it's just also a point of view that the results are good or bad. With 7 players under 18, I think there's no team in this level who can play squad like this. And of course, it's not an easy thing because if the most important players have a bad day or something, we need to be a team as good as we can to win the games. And of course, there are real good teams in Hungary. And when the result is determined by one goal, and you have the team 7 players under 18, so you cannot be sure that you won. Of course, we know if we signed one or two more players, I'm sure we won the cup, or I'm sure we we maybe beat Kirishi, but they deserved, of course, to reach the final four. Unfortunately, by them they could not play there. So for us, it's maybe the others say that okay, UVSC must win this or must win that. But I think, and I always used to say that a coach or a staff, is it working good or no? It's not always about, and not every way it's about the results, because maybe the goalie just missed one shot or the shooter just say shoot a bad shot from a good situation. So I think you need to be patient and need to be much more clear how they work, because sometimes we lose. I take the sample from the Champions League. There are many teams with huge amount of money, but only one can win, and not always with the best players, with the highest salary or something. So it's sports. So we need the. I think we our point of view, if I said correct, that it's how to develop our players. Of course, we need to win, but it's not sure you can win everything. If you want to win, you need to sign the best players, two from the US, two from the Spain or something. But this is not the way how our club works. Or okay, it's important to win titles. Okay, but it's not the most
I
important.
think it really sums up UVSC. Really, it's about the process and
Yes,
playing players that have come through the academy. Maybe they make a mistake, but the idea is that they get the opportunity to play and work their way up, and that breeds more success for people coming through the academies even at a young age.
you said the word the process. That's what I'm looking for, but I'm not. My English is not so good. But we used to say that when we talked about with Betsy, we will never sacrifice our future for our present. I think that's a good sentence about it. that okay, we can sign one or two good players, we have the money, they are interested to join us, but we will never sacrifice our future. I mean about the youngsters.
Obviously, that's never sacrifice the future for the present. It's a really good message. So as you mentioned there, Fradi and Varos, it's almost like it's between you three really for the title. Um, I know BVSC obviously got a lot of quality. Egger obviously won the cup. They're obviously capable of beating anyone on one set day and maybe losing or drawing to anyone on another day. Um, how do you keep calm in the next few weeks? You've got Ferencváros and Dunaváros in the next 2 weeks, basically the next two match days. So it's crunch time basically for you, and we will talk about EuroLeague, but that's obviously coming up as well. It's a bit of a season-defining few weeks. You've got to train hard, but how do you keep your team calm when you know you've got four really really big games coming up in the EuroLeague and domestically?
With a lots of communication. That's really important. We talked about it. Of course, I need to sign the way where we must go or how we handle this situation, and of course, work. A lot of work, lots of training, hard trainings. Not just about the tactics, about the swimming. We used to swim 3 or 4 times a week. It doesn't matter about the games. Of course, the amount of swimming or the sessions intensity or it could be might different, but we never give up also how we work in maybe just a little step out of this about the youth academy. I think we are better because we work much more than the others. Of course we have talented players, but it's like a magnetism. The players who want to work a lot, they might join our club because they know there are good coaches and they get and the work and the system how and where they could develop themselves. So of course work, and we have a routine about this and the experience how to handle this. Maybe I just checked the date, 4 weeks later everything decided the results. So I mentioned when we start to talk about the first season of me, but now it's the fifth, so I know how it works. Of course you will never be sure that it will work so you will win the games or something, but especially the coach must be always a point where the players can watch and okay, we are in safety, especially when we work with women. Okay, I'm a man, they are women, so you cannot separate this just the players and the coach. And they that's just my thing about it. Used to ask them about it, but I think they need to always be a point where they can get some safety about the games, about the trainings, about the organizing, how when we travel somewhere or the background as- from minor things like the balls or the caps. Or I think that's just in one word, that's the safety, where they can feel them safe and they can perform the best as they can. So that's how. I don't think we need to be fear something or nervous or something. Because we know we are the best. And I try to force that in their heads that we are the best. Okay, we can lose games. We can play bad against Kirishi, but it was not the whole game bad. It's maybe 1.5 quarter. When in the third quarter we lose our self confidence because we made bad finishes, and that's when Kinev starts to believe that okay, we have a chance. Why don't we take it? So we lose our self confidence, but it's a new team, so of course we had the 2 3 players from the past season. It's much more easier. But we choose this way with the youngsters, with these players, especially me as a head coach, because the players playing in our team, they play because I choose them, of course, especially. It's a common work with Betsy and of course the leaders of the club, but I'm the head coach, so it's my decision at the end. So I don't think we need to be nervous at any moment. We prepared a lot yesterday and today. We had the video preparation also. It's more than 60 minutes long each day. You know the girls how love it. when they just send 75 or 90 minutes and just hear about my things and they watch the games. Okay, we need to be careful about this. We need to play like this or something. But they are professionals, and the youngsters need to learn that without preparation, it could not work and they could not be the best players. So we don't need to be nervous. We will see this Saturday. And especially for your question, my answer only, in our point of view, only the next game. You can heard it many sports, and everyone says the same, that if we start to think about or look for the EuroLeague semifinal, maybe we lose in Saturday and we could get ourselves into a real bad situation in the championship. So now we only focus the Saturday game BVSC. We will see what will be the result between Ferencváros and Dunajváros, but now everything can happen.
That's it. There's a bit of an elephant in the room for all the success that you've had at UVSC. The European Cup, the Euro League, has always kind of eluded you a little bit for all the progress you've made. Um, is that really the biggest aim for UVSC? Now you've won everything else. The Euro League, is that the one that you really want to win?
Of course, and I think many of our players, especially Rita Kestei, deserved it to win. But it's not about what you deserved or not. You need to be good in that 60 minutes when you play the semi. After that 60 minutes when you play the final, you need to be good and scored one more goal than the opponent team. So of course it's our goal, and I don't think so. We have lesser chance than last season. There is one game. Yesterday I talked I talked an interview with a Greek journalist, and we talked about it. That's one game. Okay, maybe if you check the list, Olympiacos get better player, but it doesn't matter when you're in the water. I had a team. We had a team when we play with real good players like Maggie Stephens and so. And I don't think we were the most successful when we had the best players by the list. So it doesn't matter. And I think in all sports is the same. So you need to be focused, and need to be disciplined, and need to be good in that 60 minutes. And of course, you need to be lucky. That it's
Okay,
no sport that you can
yeah, of
evolve the
course.
luck.
Very briefly, and yeah, I don't want to go on about this too long, but you're obviously going to the final four um, in quite fortunate, well, and arguably unfortunate circumstances. Do you have how do you feel about the situation you're in?
We have real good connections with the club and the employees and the players with Kirshi many years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years when we start to play in EuroLeague. We were had many common trainings. We were there in cups. We played against each other in the group stage or the quarterfinals or something. So I can say we are good friends. So we are absolutely sorry about how they rejected from the quarterfinals. Otherwise, I heard that we are quite lucky. Maybe we have no place there, and I don't think it's about luck. At first, we won our group, so we were the first in the group stage. So that's how we get the opponent cases. So it's not about we just come from the beach, and we do a lot to be in this situation. Of course, there is horrible things about this war in between Russia and Ukraine, uh, but we do a lot to be here. So it's not any team of the world can play the final four because the Russian teams were rejected. So I could not agree, and I'm quite disappointed if some people or anybody says about it. Okay, you are just luck, and why are you here? No, no, we also deserve to be here. We won our group. Of course, it's a bad situation that we lose against Kinev. We prepared to play in the Land Trophy final, but we do a lot to be in this situation to get this. Maybe it's not the best word luck, because it's real sorry about Kinev, but we are here, and so we get the chance. So we would like to take this chance.
Yeah. In some ways, the question I asked is irrelevant because you're there, and you're going to be going to Athens and you're going to be playing, and obviously good luck to you guys, and we'll see. We'll move on a little bit. Um, And I just want to go back a little bit to just talk about the culture at UVSE. I've read interviews, I've listened to you speak. Um, Obviously, we've spoken about young players already. By the way, you out of the top four teams in the Hungarian league, you have the lowest average age of 20 years old from all your players in your squad. So that it absolutely, you're not just saying that we're playing young players. You genuinely are playing really young, talented prospects. You've often spoken about how important the club and people around you are, your technical staff. How important are those people to you, and in what ways do they help you and the team?
As I mentioned, we are a team and not just the players and me. Of course, without them or my assistant or the leader of the women's section is now it's Betsy and or doctor or leader of the team Gabor Hajas. The doctor is Peter Golopenca. Of course, the physio or the master Attila Szakmári this season. So without a team, you cannot reach your goals in this level. So they are really important. Not just the work they did all the time, about how we can build the attitude around the team, about we can have many fun when we go somewhere, or we can get help from each other anytime. So the players always can feel that they are not alone in any ways of if there is some medical things, or you just need to talk someone, or you just have some bad mood today, but you can talk. My assistant is a real fun guy, so Vince always made them laugh, and they are much younger than me, so they are closer to some players, so they have many common themes about to talk or just laugh about it. So it's always a team, and many other. I used to watch and I love handball, especially the women. And there was a Norwegian coach, Marit Breivik. He made some I don't know how to say properly in English, but they made this team as a word that together everyone achieves more. And it's a huge article about it, how they handle it, how they managed it, that magnificent Norwegian team. They won everything they can get. So we used to look for our team like this, that is a team that everyone has their role and they need to play their role. So we work together, we lose together. Okay, most of the times I'm in the front line, but I know every section when I was at the boys, or I was an assistant, or I was a vice, or a president, or technical issues employee. So I know how important when everything is fine around the team, it's much easier to perform well. Of course, we are not professionals like football or basketball or maybe handball teams, but we try to do our best. And we and the others, you asked about my staff, they not do things because it's in their contract or they paid for it. They do many things and lots of things because they love the team and they want to be the part of this team. And for me, it's a great honor, and I'm quite happy to see this works like this and not like some cold professional teams that we are here because we paid for, or something like an army. Or for me, it's much closer. The whole club, and especially the senior team in the women's section, because we are, of course, not a family, but in many ways we are behaved like a family.
Yeah, and actually, that's something I just really want to talk about just before we move on. You do have that kind of family atmosphere at the club. I've spoken to a few of your players in the past, and the way that everyone seems to interact, the coaching staff, you talked about the physios not doing things out of obligation because they generally care about the players. Um, I guess it's unique because you're a professional sports club, but how if at all, would you advise? Lots of coaches and players listen to this podcast. How would you advise coaches that want to replicate those kind of values? What advice would you give to them to create that kind of feel good atmosphere at the club, the kind of family vibe?
It's hard to answer about it, of course, one or two sentence or short one, but I try to maybe just one step back to that question, just simple about it. maybe after we finished the quarterfinals against Kirishi, many of from the staff helped the others to just make the pool back. Just try to find the words. The molinos and something. We just need help to put them down and put them from the pool to back to our tower or something, or just the waters or any stuff you need to be packed off. Packed off, maybe it's the good say so. And it's the leader, Bertie, or me, or my assistant, and
Yeah.
professional team just said, "Why are you doing this? It's not your job." Because we like to do this because it's about us. They made the employees of the club just a quarterfinal. Just you mean, but there are many things you need to make the background about the hotel, about the transfer, about the pool, how to the jury table or something, and we would like to give them some back with our help. So that's maybe a sample. They can see it much better. So if you at first, many years ago, one of my colleagues in the boys asked me what should he do with their team. It's not working good or something, and I just answered them: try to love them. Try to love your players at first, because if you just standing like a Napoleon or some general, it's not working. So you are need to work together with your players, with your staff, with the leaders of the club. Of course, you need the good people for it, because if they say totally different, maybe the president or the vice president or any of the staff's point of view is like, I'm a professional, I'm doing what I had in my contract or something, it's not working. So you need to find the right persons, and of course the right club. If the club has a vision like this, it can work. I don't want to say that it's a bad thing if you are a professional or a great club, and it can work commonly that you are a professional and you try to be as much more human as you can. But if you like to build up and manage a club like us, maybe someone is sympathizing with this, you need to find the good persons for it, and you need to develop and learn all the time. I meant we mentioned about my first season. I learned a lot from my players, from my assistants, from any employees of the club. Just one good word in the right time from a person who just made the paperwork or something, it can help you. And if you are open enough for new thoughts, for new point of view. I love to talk with players from abroad. I love to talk with my players or other coaches from the EuroLeague or from Hungarians. I have many good friends, and of course we are not agreed in many things. But for me, it's really interesting to see how they think about it, how they think about my team, how they think about the competition, how they think about players. Maybe I'm totally different, but it's so interesting if you are open for the communication. So for your question, Strict, if someone wants to build up something like this, you need to find a good club and the good persons for it, and you need to learn. Many much more smarter people than me said that you need to learn every day.
Yeah. Nice, easy answer. Find the right people, find the right club. Nice and easy, nice and simple. Let's move on. You're obviously, aside from your duties at UVSE, you're also involved in the national team setup with the under 17s. You had some success um, in the summer, winning the bronze at the Euros. Um, how do you juggle the priorities of national team and UVSE?
There are many questions in one way, so I try to answer. First, I think it's much harder to work with the national teams because with your club, there is a whole season for you. I talked a lot about the communication. You can know your players' mentality, how they think better. So it's easier. In the national team, if you are lucky, you have before the competition. We had before Shibanik 8 weeks preparation, so I think it's one of the longest. So without preparation, it's really hard to develop a team because in the youth ages there are not professionals. They are young girls with huge motivation and many expectations about the result, about the coach, about the teammates, and so it's harder. In Hungary, we used to work 1 week weekend, sorry, in each month. There is one weekend. There are no the youth games, this for the national teams. Uh, about how you can separate your club and the national team, that try to not choose players because it's from your club, or of course it's not an easy. I think there's two things that about me. I'd like to win much more than take players from my club. So if anyone knows me, they know how a bad loser I am. Inside of me, of course, I can behave like a gentleman or something, but I'm not a good loser. So I hate lose any games. It doesn't matter as a preparation or competition or something. So there is always a trust. My boss in the national team is Peter Biros, and I'm sure and I hope he trusts in me like this way. But I learned it. I'm the head coach, so I will choose the players. If someone not agreed with, okay, you can be the head coach. Until the responsibility is mine about the result, about how the team can compete with the best teams, how team the trainings, and so until the decision is always mine, the final. So that's the first thing. And I heard in the question that you said that maybe some national team coaches, it doesn't matter the age or something, they choose these players from this club because he or she from this club. I think there is one thing you can let any coach. If the coach trusts that player more, especially in crucial situations, maybe the score is even, you have 1 minute left, there is always the choice of the coach. So maybe you can arguing about which player is better before the selection for a competition, but we talked about it before Shibanik, and one of my assistants said, okay, if you trust more in her, then you can choose her.
But can I just on that point? Um, must be really difficult though if you're coaching someone week in week out with your club, or you're seeing them on Margaret Island walking past the under 17 training, and the coach is saying, "Oh, this player's doing really really well," and there's you're only human. There's going to be a unconscious bias, I think, um, and that's not to say that your team selections are biased at all. I'm not saying that at all. But it, how do you make sure that you are as neutral as possible? You said there, maybe it's just because you wanted to win. Does that override everything else for you?
Yes, understand. You can get some objective results by tests, of course, swimming and the gym. And when you watch the statistic of the games, you watch. I always watch back every game. Of course, not the 20 goals between, but the closer games also at the national team. I always watch 3 times in live after I checked it, and I show the girls what we did good or bad. So after you can see every games, or you can saw every games 3 times, I think I can make the decision. Neutral, you said this word. Who is neutral in this word? I think no people is
Fair
neutral.
enough.
Of course,
Fair enough.
you can try to be,
Of course.
but there is always connections. Always some. You are human, and everyone is a human. If you start work as a coach, you need to be prepared that you will always be stupid. If you not win a competition or a game, there are always many much better players. You are stupid. It doesn't matter how many games you or your. I don't like it when that I win games. No, my teams. It's okay, but not me. So it doesn't matter when you lose a competition, or there is always a quarterfinal. If you lose a quarterfinal, you can go to the fifth and the eighth place. So we talk about one games with 16-year-old girls. So you are a bad coach, or you are stupid because a 16-year-old girl made some mistakes, or maybe the opponent was better. So they get quite stressed. So it's the easiest things in any sports, that if a team lose, the coach is stupid, or the staff, or everyone is never know about this sport, they are idiots or something. So I don't think so. So I try to be neutral as I can, but I'm lucky. Of course, I don't want to stay out of this question, because here's my club in my shirt also. But I'm lucky because you can just check the competitions in this Hungarian Youth Championship. UVSC won the most of it, so I don't need to select my club's players from the fifth base or the eighth or something. But of course, no one said to me in front of my face that why you take eight players to the Shibanik squad or something. But I know at my back they used to say it. But for me, I don't care. Until it's my responsibility, I made decision. Of course, I communicate a lot with my staff and especially with Peter Biros, and we agreed. So they said the same. We saw the tests, we saw the trainings in the gym, in the water. We watched the games back. We played at the preparation, and we we saw the girls how they live together when we go to have some lunch, or what's the attitude, or how they can work together, not just when we training, when we go. We were at the Netherlands, some preparation. So after, and you can never avoid it, you are the head coach, so you can talk with the whole people around the world, but the final decision is yours. And that's decision when you need to select the team. Of course, also in my club before an important game, or especially in the national team, that was my one of my worst memories when I need to select. We just it happens like we go into the gym maybe 2 weeks before the European Championship. We go into the gym and I need to set two players. Okay, you are out, and that's one of the worst memories ever as a coach. I could hardly imagine when you go to the Olympic Games and you must set two, three players that okay, you stay home. So if anyone said that the coach is like this or something, okay, we can switch the place. Just sit here and say two players, you are out. So, but we are coaches. We need to take these decisions also.
You said I've got a few other questions. We'll leave that for part two. But you just said there you couldn't imagine taking a team to the Olympic Games. Do you think the national team, the senior team, being on the staff there, assistant coach or head coach one day, do you think that would be something that you would you'd like to do,
You mean
or
Hungary?
anyone else? I mean, yeah, Hungary presumably, but I mean, yeah,
So I try to separate these things because if we talk about assistant coach, it absolutely about who is the head coach, because it's not about my ego or something, or but if you could not work with your full heart, with your full mind to under, maybe it's the good in English, to
yeah,
work under someone to make the background to help him, you must not get the proposal, you
okay,
must not say yes because of money or because the it's a title that I'm in the staff. So it's absolutely about who is the head coach, but I'm of course interested. It's not about my ego. It doesn't matter he or she or me won more titles or something. It's about how can we work together. When we were at the UVSC 2019 with Attila Mihok, we are the greatest rivals in Hungary. He is the head coach and the head of the club in Dunajváros 20 years ago. And of course, I said yes. And we can work together absolutely good as persons, and it's very important, and as coaches. He was quite clear, and for me, is a bit surprised. He never made decisions by ego or just put me to the second place. The first day he said, okay, this section, man up, man down, it will take by Marci because they are the best in Hungary of it, and never used any word about, okay, you will not do this, like it's your section, you can do it. So it's up to who is the head coach. So I can work with many head coaches together, so it's not a problem for me at all, and it's not about ego. As a head coach, of course, if you ask me about the Hungary, I think now the stuff is real good, real good. And I said before the Olympic qualification tournament in Trieste, in Hungary, you need to know that okay, if you're not to qualify for the Olympics, they must quick out because they are maybe idiots or they are bad coaches. I could not agree, absolutely. And I said before the Trieste tournament, okay, just check it. If they are working good, maybe they missed a game, the semifinal against Italy in Italy. So we must kick them because they lose the game. Fortunately, they not lose. They win an absolutely and deserved success against Italy in their home. But I don't think so. If you lose a game or lose a qualification, I know maybe I might alone with this opinion in Hungary, because if you're not qualification, you not get for the Olympic Games, you can go and go to do some other work, never be as a water polo coach. Okay, I'm just joking. But now the staff in Hungary is very good. The head coach Attila Biro was my coach as a player in OSC also, and the assistant Laszlo Tóth was a teammate of me and a very very good person, very good. He is absolutely kind and professional, and always his attitude like, okay, let's do it, and come on girls, and so absolutely positive. And the goalies coach, but of course not just works with the goalies. Bertz is one of my best friend, and not because he is one of my best friend, and he's one of the best coach I ever know. And the real important thing is these three people, of course, with the gym coach and with the medical stuff, and so they can work together real good. They are not perfect, as no one is perfect, but they can work together. And okay, there is always other opinions that why did not my player in the Olympic Games. I always used to say there is player who get or stay home before the Olympic Games. Okay, but I always said they are the coaches. They were there, they made decision, and they get the responsibility. But I don't want to take out or get out your question. Of course, if I get a proposal, I think there is no Hungarian coach who can get a proposal to be a national team coach can
Okay.
say no, because it's our home. Any Hungarian team ask me to coach them, of course I say yes, because it's my home, it's my country, it's my flag, so it's no question about it. Other countries, it's of course depends on the proposal, depends on the situation, how they competitive they can get. About me, it's not about the money.
Okay, that's nice and clear. Look, we'll leave it there for part one, and we'll come back with some questions, some quick fire questions in part two. Okay, welcome back to part two. This is the part where we ask Martin questions that you've sent in, and also some questions that we normally ask some of our guests. Martin, we ask everyone that comes on the show, you might be aware, give their dream team, their dream seven.
Who forced me into this situation? So, so it's hard because how can I change? The choose, sorry. So of course, I'm always devoted to my players. I always think that they are the best.
Your face says it all. Really, it's you're gonna have to choose, and we ask everyone, so you can't wriggle out of this one. How about you pick a team? So your dream seven that aren't playing in your team at the
I just
moment.
need to find the starting point about it,
Goalkeeper, starting goal, starting
because
goal.
it's hard to. 10 years ago, a goalie, of course, is not so good as nowadays. So,
Of
but
course, of
I
course.
think if you need to choose a goalie, it's Ashley Johnson. It's obvious that she can dominate the game in every ways. Of course, she also had the weak points, and but Ashley Johnson, as she played in the United States team, I think it's real hard to find a better goalie.
Okay,
So
that's the starting point. Really good choice, obviously, and she's playing her polo in Europe at the moment. Who knows? She might want to come and try out in Hungary. I don't know. Centre back, centre forward.
I think center back position is also for me. It's obvious there are many good center backs, but one player where meets everything: the physical, the tactical, the preparations, and then and the good hand to shoot, and as a leader of a team, I heard many stories about it from my US players. It's Melissa Zeideman. She good in any ways or any aspects of the game. She can score anytime. She can beat any opponent player. I mean the water polo way. I'm sure. I hope it's not so strict, but and of course, as a center back, she's quite strong and absolutely prepared and experienced. So if I must be a center forward, I think she will be the last I choose to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
against.
She's so strong. She's so experienced, and as you said, she can score some outrageous goals. So that's a really good choice there. Centre forward.
Center forward, I think. May I can choose two players
Yeah, yeah, if you like. Yeah, yeah,
because I'm hard to
yeah. That's fine.
to make the first base. At first is the Spanish player Maika Garcia. I watched her many years ago, and as a coach of boys and girls from youth age, I see that for me, she seems that she got everything about the center forward play in her veins.
Yeah,
So she feels what to do. She feels how to do in any time. It's real hard to prepare against her because she most of the times choose the best option to play for an exclusion without the ball or to score or to make some movement from the center back. So she plays the way as a center forward, which is hard to teach
yeah,
because she feels what need to do in nearly any seconds. And my second favorite in nowadays or the past season is Rebecca Parks. It's obvious that she is a real kind a person. She works as a professional, and she developed in and raised up as one of the best centers in the world in Hungary. Just so fast and so focused, and so I'm absolutely uh, about backs, but in center forward position it's real hard because you are about a team. If
yeah,
you not get good balls, good passes, you not get the good movements to make situation or position which is good for you, so you are absolutely about your team. But I also have players in my mind who could be maybe better than these two, but if I need to choose from the past seasons or the Olympic Games, I choose these two.
yeah. I mean, they'll be going some to be better than those two. They're just impossible to play against. Obviously, Micah's decision making and Rebecca's just growing, and she's probably one of the best centre forwards in the world. Who have you got on the top then?
Yes, I have four positions. I need four players to choose. For the lefties, I if it's not a problem for you, I say two players also, and I would like to choose a lefty because it's not
Of course.
right as if I choose right hand players for every positions. Maybe two lefties. One of is also a Spaniard. It's Judith Forca. I also, as Micah Garcia, I watched her many years ago, and I love how she plays. And she she improved her play in defense in the past seasons. She she now is much better than many years ago. And when you are fans, she beats us many times. So I,
Yeah,
I can thank for Judith many bad moments, but
it's frightening. It's frightening how many goals she
yes,
scored this season, and as you said, defensively she shored
and
it up. And I
she
mean,
will
I
shoot.
think she's pretty
She
underrated.
will shoot. Yes, she will shoot. You can prepare. She loves to shoot this corner or that one, but she scores. So as an opponent coach, it's not so enjoyable, but she's quite good. And my other favorite is Hanna Kistalaki from Hungarian national team. She stopped to play 2 3 years ago, but as balanced as a player, also in offense and defense, and in mind how she plays, the assist is absolutely Hanna Kistalaki as a lefty. So these two is my favorite. For the next three, I tried to choose one. Sorry for me,
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say you just make sure you get a Hungarian in the team, but no, she's she's definitely worth her place with those players. You got two more.
so I'm just step for positions. For position two, I think it's maybe Ani Espar,
Yep,
also from Spain.
yep,
Of course, she plays many times in position 4 or 5, but also I think Ani is real balanced. So good in any ways of water polo, and also as a shooter, as a defender, as go to some second center forward, and she's always calm, never loses her mind. So I think my select is for her. So I
Okay.
have two more. I'm a Hungarian, so everyone, please forgive me. But I think Rita Kessé is not a question.
You can't leave her out. You
Of
can't. No,
course, of course,
no one seriously can put a dream team without putting her in, and you know
of
that.
course.
You know that more than most.
And from the last position, I think I said about Rita everything. So I have no more words
Yeah,
about
no,
her.
yeah,
And of course we are devoted to her. She raised up from maybe 10 years ago in our club. So I saw her from as a child to now one of the best players. And but my select is not about because of this, because her performance. And for the last position, I have three options, but I will choose. It's Maggie Stephens, Maddie Musselman, and of course Yevgenia Prokofyeva. But from these three, by the results, for my selection is Maggie Stephens. She's I think more balanced than the other two, and Maggie's results, there is no comment. So
yeah, yeah. I mean
so
that.
that's my
Yeah, it took a while, but what a team! What an absolute team! Anyway, we'll move on then, and so one of your players, and I will name her, Natasha Rabanska.
yes.
By the way,
I
top
got
top
I had this
top
tip.
player. Yeah, top player. Shout out to her. She sent in about 10 questions, and some of them we'll read out, some of them we won't.
Only
Um,
10.
yeah, well, maybe I'm being generous there. Um, I mean, the first one she wrote, I don't know if it's a bit suggestive, but one player he's most proud of.
One player that I'm most proud of.
Is she asking because she thinks it should be her, or
I hope it will be her. Who? It's not an easy question. 20 years ago, the most proud. It's the hardest question I got.
you have to choose one? You can't do it like the dream team where you choose like three lefties. You just one name.
Okay, just give me some seconds because
That's
I
fine
need to. The most proud. It's a really interesting point of view. Maybe the most proud. Should I choose a boy, a man?
if you like.
Because if I want to answer in that way, that most proud, I need to work with this player as a youngster. So I think the player I'm most proud, it's maybe Wendell Vigvari. It's not because he is the best, or but I I try to help him in many ways to join our club. I always give give him minutes in my teams when he was younger, and uh, and maybe it's him.
Okay, that's nice. Um, I've just noticed here as well. Natasha's also said, "Please thank him for me. He made me an Olympian from zero."
No, I did not make her Olympian. Maybe I try. No, I'm sure I'm trying to help her, but it's her work. So,
Yeah.
but I'm proud
Okay.
of her. Please say to
Um,
her.
yeah. To be honest, I feel like she should be on the show asking you all these questions, not me. Another
I
one from her. What are the moments he is the most proud of in his career?
only 10. When I was a player, two moments. How many selections I got?
One, definitely one.
Only
We could
one.
be we could
Oh,
be here all day otherwise, couldn't we?
oh my God. As a Hungarian, and we talked about how you be neutral. So I think if I choose one, I'm the national team, maybe it's some neutral. But I'm much more my family UVSE, so it's not easy. Oh my God, Natasha, you will swim a lot because of it. The most proud. Okay, I can choose. It's of course it's not a game or something. I don't need to be so strict or something. The last championship, the last championship title we won last season, because was a COVID season. It was absolutely hard. We had many new players, many youngsters, and many other people said after the cup we lose in September that we are not good enough, and how we won the third game by 5 goals, and We keep Duno Ivaric 2 goals to score. I think when I when I saw the girls' reactions after it, how happy they are. So if I can choose only one, that
Okay.
is.
Okay. Another one from Natasha. Are there any players he considers to be the future of water polo?
Of course, in my team there are many. She's uh, she's one of it.
She's one. Another. Someone perhaps that wouldn't be on the radar of a lot of a lot of people. Someone perhaps that didn't go to Tokyo. Someone that been working really hard behind the scenes that hasn't
If
yet.
she's not on the radar, I can choose two players now. It's Camila Farago and Pani Sagadi. Camila Farago is 2000, so she's 22 now, and she's quite close to the national team squad in the first team. Of course, if I am a coach, she's in because she's my player, but I'm just joking. And and Pani Segedi was the captain of the team in Šibenik, and I think her because she could be balanced as the player I mentioned in my best seven. So now she can improve and reach in any ways of water polo closely the highest level. So she's quite balanced, and now in our sports, how balanced you are, it's very important. So these two.
Yeah, Panny's obviously really an exciting player, and Farago's been fantastic. I mean, she did play the other month for Hungary, and she's been really contributing well. Another one from Natasha. What's the best and worst part of being a coach?
It's the easiest question, please. Like questions like this more. It's an easy question. The worst what we mentioned about is when you need to select the team. The team selection is horrible before the selection, but when you must stand in front of your team and said one, two, or three players that thank you, you can go home. I never so that's horrible. So
Yeah,
I hope that no one needs to feel that
rejection.
you're
Yeah,
yes. So that's
it's yeah,
horrible.
yeah, it
When
is.
when you select the team, that's the worst. So
Yeah,
it's not a question. And for me, it's not the coach way. When I see after we won game or title, I see how happy my players are. So that's happiness, that's enjoy. That's for me. That's the best thing. We talked about the under 17 championship. For me, it was a never forget. It's unforgettable moment that after they reached seventh place 2 years ago, and now they reach bronze medal in Hungary. A bronze medal. It's you know how it's so it's not the top of the top, but when I see how happy they are, and also the parents, and also the staff, and these young girls who never give up what they believe in. For me, it was a quite enjoyable moment, and then I was absolutely proud that in a short time we had always tried to keep their face and talk about with them that you must believe in yourself and you are much better, and we are Hungary, we are not around the seventh place, it was just an accident. And so, and after Šibenik, when I saw them crying and they were so happy. So that's the best when I saw my team after we won something.
nice, nice. Um, we got not one from Natasha to make a change.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
surprise.
surprise. We've got one from Michael Sharrett, and he says, "What's your one key point for a beginner coach
To love your team.
to love your team?" I do like that phrase
Yes.
to love and nurture your team. It's a
Many important things, but I think that first, if you don't love your team, you cannot work together.
sure,
If
sure,
you every day you just okay, why I need to be here, oh these idiots. And of course not just by the coach, also as a players, you cannot work together if you are not in good connection.
sure. 100% agree. Um, got one from here from K Gohard 12. And actually, I had a similar question for part one, but I didn't ask it. Is what do you advise for the sessions before a major tournament? And what my question was basically in the next 3 weeks. Obviously, if you want to view it as a major tournament, the EuroLeague, you've obviously got the end of the domestic season. what are you going to be working on? What when you've only got 2 or 3 weeks left? Obviously, don't give me specifics tactically that then the Olympiacos team can listen to and stuff. But what do you work on 2 or 3 weeks out from a big tournament?
It depends on many circumstances. Of course, the past months, what did you do and what did you achieve with your team? Where did you start and where did you get now? So, of course, that's really important. It's absolutely different when you work with the national team or your club. If I need to answer about us, my focus it's always about how we play. I always check their games, what it's not working, man ups, man downs, about the defense, about offense. One thing that you can never avoid or take out this planning as a coach, the player's individual performance. So you always need to be clear that for example, is the tactic is bad or any of your players made an individual mistake. So if you take that fault that maybe you change your tactics because an individual fall, I think that's a bad way. So you always need to be clear. So what should you do, or what will we do in the next 3 weeks? It's all about analyzing the situation. I not mean about computers and some doctors or professors in laboratories. And you, like a Bluetooth, you need to feel your team. Okay, we everyone knows that Bluetooth is working, but no one sees ever how where is Bluetooth working or something. If I joking a bit, but the chemistry is always working. So that's why you need to love the team. That's why you need to connect it with your team. Then it's easier for you to make good decisions. You need to change something or need to know. And sometimes you go into a really important trainings, 2 3, and you just threw the ball in. Then okay, let's play something, or we play. Maybe you watched or volleyball style play. So you need to feel the team. It's very important when you are so stressed 3 weeks before to release the stress. So you need to be a psychologist as much as a coach. So it depends on many things. So it's hard to say one thing, but if I need to say one thing, that's try to get the clear point that where is your team now. If you analyze this and you make a good result, that we are bad or good in this and other things, then you are much easier to make the right decision what you should do in the next 3 weeks. So maybe you forgive me if I not answer for Olympiacos about it, but I can say something that okay, we get shocked after the Kirishi game, so it don't need to be a liar or something. And so we need up build up ourselves. That I said many times of the girls, okay, that was a real bad 1.5 quarter. Okay, but we are not better. We are not worse than 2 or 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago. So we need to believe as ourselves. So self confidence is very important.
This is not an easy question, and I don't think you're going to like it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you could coach one team that wasn't UVSE, who would it be?
The club or national team?
Well, I know what you'd say for national team, and it can't club,
Club.
because I know you say Hungary, obviously. Could you? I mean, you never know what the future holds. Do you think you could ever possibly coach another club in Hungary, or do you think actually
It's harder in Hungary
it's harder to coach
because
another team?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Of course, we never knows what will be in life, but if
pick
I
one.
can choose. Okay, one, but not from Hungary. You let me, let me. This
I would
it's
love,
maybe.
I'd love to hear what you'd say if it was just Hungary.
I just tried to check the consequences of my answer. So
Yeah. You could be sacked. You could be
okay,
sacked
but
if this gets
but
released.
but I had a good reason because of the fans. I choose Olympiacos.
Okay, okay,
We
that
were there many times. That's the only thing I'm jealous for football
yeah,
about the fans.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
The Olympiacos fans is it's unbelievable.
Those Olympiacos fans are unbelievable with their flares, their drums, and that they're so passionate. Yeah, I understand why. Um, this isn't so much as a question from listeners, but it's something we haven't really spoken about at all. Um, what do you do away from water polo? How do you relax, and what other hobbies do you have? You know,
I get not many times or many hours where I'm not focusing on water polo because if I just mentioned that a video preparation or a tactical training, I talk the girls maybe 75 minutes, but for me it's maybe three times or two times more to prepare to mix it, to choose the videos I want to show and choose the procedure, where will I start and where I would like to be at the end. So there are not many times. There are lots of things I love to do. I love to read, especially about history, the Second World War. Of course, I'm a man, so my favorites is about armies, about historical things, about wars, about the technical background, maybe for the Second World War, the tanks, the airplanes, or something. I'm also a few years ago I'm addicted to like Netflix or HBO Go. There are many good series.
yeah. What are you watching at the moment?
Now I'm
Yeah.
watching in Netflix the Fauda.
Okay.
It's about the Israeli and Palestinian collision, about the security forces and the Palestinian freedom fighters. So it's quite interesting, and I'm quite interesting that the home language Israeli and the Hebrew. It's that I choose because English is not so good, and it's very interesting to hear their own language, the Arab and the Hebrew, and when the pressure and the stress is high, and how they're screaming in their own language. But of course, that's a horrible. So it's not a funny movie, the Fauda, but I'm quite curious about it, how things work in life, and you can learn a lot from it. But I also love fantasies about like Game of Thrones and other fantasy stuff. So like Star Wars, I'm a real big fan of,
Who isn't? Who isn't?
but not the new series. They are not my kind. But the Disney series is now the new, like the Mandalorian, and so they are so good. And I have a dog. Fortunately, he's not here at the moment.
I can see for people listening can't see you furiously looking around to see if you can pick up the dog and show me on the camera.
No, my partner take him, so he's not home at the moment, so that's why one can talk on. But maybe I can show you it. But he's not here at the moment, and I also love to be with my family at Lake Balaton in Hungary.
Yeah,
Uh, that lake where I was in many times in my childhood, so I'm absolutely devoted to spend my time there. I love the lake. I also love the sea, but for me, the lakes is better because it's not salty.
yeah,
I love to swim, and salt is kind of bit disturbing. But of course, I love if I need to choose some holiday destination, it's always in the beach.
yeah.
But I need water there,
It's
so
it's a bit difficult to find a beach in Hungary. Um, yeah,
Lake Balaton is perfect. So I suggest everyone to visit there in summertime. It's beautiful, and the water is absolutely clear, and it's like silk, and the stuff around the lake is better and better year by year. The restaurants are awesome, so do not miss it.
there we are. Fine. What a great note to end on. Um, Giving holiday advice as well as water polo advice. Perfect.
And it's free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Look, Marton, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, and hopefully hear from you soon.
Thank you so much, and it was an honor to me. And anytime, if you had questions or something, me and my players or the club, we are always for you and for the media, of course.
I know that was lengthy, but I really, really hope that you feel it was worth it. Marton, he loves his sport, he loves his club, he loves his country, and to be honest, I just love hearing him talk about it all. Everything he says has meaning, and you just want to listen to every word and learn lessons from someone who is a really, really top coach. I really hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As I said at the beginning, make sure you make full use of our discount code at Waterpolo, so it's podcast 10. Just pop that in, the discount code bit at the checkout. And of course, we would be massively grateful if you could like our show, rate our show, subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're getting it from, and that helps us develop as a show. Thank you very much, keep safe, and I look forward to our next show.